Right, we're now ready to start to mill the crank, the web, and drill for the crank pin. I've laid all this out on my surface plate or surface stone using a height gauge, which seems to be pretty accurate. The total diameter of the crank was 21.5, and I've gone for, from the top, 10.75, which is by eyeball, halved it, and with the height gauge set at the same settings, because I've mounted it in a collet block, I was able to just rotate it 90 degrees and scribe for the crank pin, and the web I've got to cut out to make a balanced crank. So the cutout doesn't go all the way through, it goes to a depth. So hopefully with this mounted in the mill now, like that, I think it's either a 5 or a 6mm cutter I've got to have. I should be able to machine that out, and I'm leaving it in the collet because it was laid out in the collet, and it's now fixed the axis on the X and the Y, so everything should be in position to do it. I should be able to get all the measurements using the DRO on my milling machine. As I've explained before, this is a machine I converted from a manual machine to a CNC, and so I have to control it now with the keyboard on the computer. So I'll set up for the next bit and we'll come back. Right, we've set up. We've got a 10mm cutter in because we've got a 5mm radius to cut there, and I have touched off, and I'm going to go down about well, the whole body's 6mm. We'll have a look at 4mm first and see how we go. So we'll go to 0. Always frightening, this is. Scares you to death. And start him up, and we'll try a little cut towards us first. As I say, I've got to do all this on the keyboard. I'm just using the scribe lines for reference, and I'll back up now on that. And switch off, because we still want our fingers for later. I'm not terribly happy with that cutter. I can't remember what I've used it for before. Yeah, we need to go that way a little bit to get on the line. We're virtually on the line there. So we'll jog over about half a mil. and try that. Looks about it, so I'll keep dropping and cutting until I get to the bottom, and I'll fetch you back when we've reached there or starting on the other side. But you get the idea. I'm just going to drop down 1/4 mil and machine it back up to this line, and keep doing that until I've dropped down about 4 mil. Okay, right, now set up on the other side. Taking the first side down to 4 millimeters, and now I'm going to proceed to whittle this down to 4 millimeters. I'll just do one cut on camera, the rest you can imagine. So I'll just take it down to another 1/4 millimeter. And we'll cut in. I've got 0 marked out on the Y, so I'll just stop when it comes down to 0. Back out again. I'm sure this cutter is absolutely, because it's making a noise. It doesn't feel sharp. That's all I've got at the minute, so I'll have to persevere with it. So I'll fetch you back when I've cut all the way through, and the next down to the 4 mil, and then the next thing will be to set up to drill the 4 mil crank pin, which I've now got center popped. So see you shortly. Right, we've finished milling out our pockets for the counterweight, and the next thing we're going to do is set up on that pop mark for the crank pin, and that's going to be a 4 millimeter hole. I found out why my sound died completely on the last video, or a couple of videos ago. It looks like it needs a new battery in the receiver. So we're working on an all mic on the camera at the minute. So first of all, this is an eyeball job, by the way. First of all, we'll stabilise our pointer, not like that, not like that. That looks about it. I'm fetching down. And we want to go that way a touch, and look at it from the other side. Have to go forward a touch, which is awkward with the camera being where it is, and I've just gone the wrong way. Down a touch more. Now half a mile out. Wants to come forward more. gone the wrong way again. Forward again. Down a bit. And that way a bit. Problem is with it eyeballing, you don't know whether to trust your eyeball or not. This is what happens when we touch. Didn't like that. That mustn't be quite on. Oh. Eyeball white. Don't look through that. You see which way it's jumping, so we want to come that way a touch. It. Sit in the centre of that hole and pop without moving, so we'll take that as good. Oh dear. Just overrode my limit switch, but as soon as I know we're not working CNC, that won't matter a lot at the minute. So we can pop her out. And substitute it for a centre drill. Don't know whether I've got, with this setup on the collet, I don't know if I've got enough height to get me drill chuck in, but we'll have a look now. Centre finder out. I'm starting to trust these centre finder tools a bit more than I used to. As I say, I've not been doing this long, and it's a steep learning curve as usual, but an enjoyable one, because if you don't keep your brain going, I think it dies. With the amount of different things I get to do, I can't see that happening for a day or two. I get myself into all sorts of scrapes. Right, little tap, out she comes. We've got the drill chuck here ready. Up it goes. Finger tight, spanner, give it a nip, and that's all that's required with this machine now. Changing tools, it is superb. Right, centre drill, what have we got? We'll have to put a tiny one in. Here we go. Come. I'm just going to pop that. Went right into our top mark. And after this hole is drilled, we have finished machining the crankshaft. It says the pin needs to be a push fit, so possibly I better put a 3.9 drill through and then reamer it to size after, if we can. So pop that out. I need to pop it out like that. There we go. 3.9. Have I just knocked you then? Sorry. 4, 8, 9. I've just got to check the drawing again, because it would be unlike me to make a mistake, but you never know, do you? It looks like I'll give you a bit of a whack there, doesn't it? Where is it? There we go. Fetched you back. Yeah. Well, you can all confirm with me that it is in fact 4mm, and it says see note 1, and note 1 says press fit on crank pin. Whee! So there we go. Can we go any further back up? Just a little bit. Just to allow me to get this drill in the chuck. I have to push it right up inside the chuck. Yeah, we've just got enough clearance. Is it running true? Yeah. We'll have to touch it and then bore it to a depth, because I've still got my bore race on the back of it. It might be just a fraction for me to go through, but we'll see. All forward and trust in the Lord. I'll set my DRO just so I know how deep I have gone. Right, it's just touching there, so I'll zero the DRO. And I will gently feed her in. Cut nicely. .1mm. 1.9, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, and the width of that piece is 6mm, so we've just got a mil to go. bearing is about 0.3 of a mil, maybe 0.5 away from the back surface. Five point 5.7. .8, 5.9. That's as far as I dare go. Right, hole drilled. I'll put the reamer through it, a hand reamer through it, and see how we get on. So there we are. We're to the end of the crankshaft. The next time we're going to have to move on to something else, and it looks like it's going to be the cylinder. Ooh. Anyway, thanks for watching. Press the like button please, and subscribe please, because I seem to have very few people liking it, and it's probably sending a message to me that I should desist. But there you go. Thank you. Bye.